Welcome back to Tech, Tesla, and Trends. Tonight, I'm going to discuss a recycling of the Masterplan Part 1 from a commercial perspective. This idea was something that Andrei over at the Busy Brain Club brought up. And if you haven't checked out his channel, you really need to. He is a good thinker. I think he'll appreciate that little detail because I think we all do need to think more and do more of it, as he says. Looking at where this goes from as far as a concept. With, as a refresher here, the Masterplan Part 1 was, the Roadster was the high margin, low volume vehicle, kind of kickstarts everything else. S and X are the next platforms, is the next platform iteration that grows out of there. Truly, I think those are technically Platform 1, and those are a bit higher volume, still high margin, but not quite as expensive as the Roadster was. And then you get into 3 and Y. And those two are Platform 2, which get us to a more mass market appeal, still more expensive than the full mark, or to the lower end than would be that will be serviced by Platform 3, which is the 25,000 subcompact and RoboTaxi that they were discussing in the Q3 conference call. But looking at where this goes from a commercial perspective, with semis delivery coming in December, or the first 15 semis being delivered to PepsiCo in December, I think it's the 3rd. I think we are going to see some very useful tidbits start to roll from a commercial perspective. Initially, Tesla's looking at 50,000 semis a year rolling off of the lines. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pull that off. There's got to be a rabbit out of that hat somewhere. But as I look at it, that whole, the whole Masterplan Part 1, you have semi. And this is that high margin, high volume vehicle. Check mark. CyberTruck is your S and X frame work there, and those of you that have seen my tweet have seen the CyberVan. I really believe that the CyberTruck gives us a vision into what the van will actually look like. I think that it will be as revolutionary as the CyberTruck itself, because it just makes a lot of sense. The material and everything else. Vans are I was looking at it from a standpoint of wanting to replace my Excursion. But from a standpoint of commercial, vans are an important component for a lot of small businesses and medium businesses, and even into Pepsi, they, as part of their 70,000 vehicle assets that they've got. They've got small vans, and they've got everything all the way up, from Class 2B all the way up to Class 8 semis. So this is a real huge accordion level of transport needs that can be addressed. And I think that the CyberTruck and CyberVan fall into that S and X variant or platform. And then with where the equivalent of the 3 and Y kicks in is utilizing the semi platform as a cargo vehicle and a flatbed. So and not necessarily a flatbed with pre-manufactured, but literally just no bed on there. Just set out for third parties to add boxes and tow truck apparatuses, cement truck, tanker for milk, water, whatever else. I'm thinking, obviously a garbage truck is another one that would fit into that. And especially when you start to get into that whole autonomous side of things, those garbage trucks will naturally be, in my mind, one of those profit margin centers for those that go autonomous with them. I think that's really going to be a big deal someday. One of the things that really jumped out at me when they started talking about autonomous vehicles, seeing that, because it has a natural, easy, it fits into that niche, and it can be done at night, and it can be done where, it's one of those things that I see happening. The Tesla bot integration with all of these other platforms makes a lot of sense to me. With that, you get take an Uber Eats, and they can deliver those meals that last mile with a CyberTruck and a bot. And you think about that from a perspective, that last mile matters. So your CyberTruck and van, they integrate into that last mile delivery model quite well. You have your FedExes and your UPS and the USPS, and boy, there's a scandal in that one. The whole, I think it's Oshkosh, and anyways, Sam Alexander did a wonderful follow-up report on the scandal level that was occurring there. Essentially, they're using the federal dollars to buy gas vehicles with dollars that were earmarked for EVs. It blows me away. Giving a contract to a company that's never built an EV is just insane. But that level of corruption and craziness should be expected, I guess, from when we're talking about federal dollars. And then Elon at one point had tweeted that he would love to work with Mercedes on the Sprinter van. So clearly Mercedes turned him down, and at that point I think it is illogical for it will become something that I think Mercedes will regret at the end of it all, because they will have missed out on an opportunity to work with Tesla on that. We'll see. Sprinter is one of those major players in the whole industry there, so it was a natural, I think, could have been a great partnership. Then again, Toyota had a potential for a great partnership back in the early 2014 range, and they'll regret. I think it's pretty obvious they regret getting rid of their share in Tesla. But I don't think they have a clue what they're doing anyways. That's a company that is spinning in circles, from what I can tell, looking at where they're going and the technologies they claim they're investing in. And Toyota's got to figure it out. One of the last items that I see on there is the big yellow bus. And Kamala, jokes aside, there is a logical reason for a third-party bus conversion at some point based off of the Tesla Semi. I don't think Tesla will ever actually make buses. They could, though. There's a lot of other opportunities there. I mean, it's not just school buses. There's tour buses, and like Greyhound and some of the others that are out there. So there's definitely an opportunity for buses to be electrified and to have a margin or a place in the margins of Tesla. But that could be one that I think might end up being third-partied. People just buying the Semi with a platform and slapping on a school bus apparatus to that. So that's one that we'll have to watch and see how that develops, whether Tesla wants that market or not. I kind of think they won't, but I could be wrong. And in closing, just looking at how this all plays and connects together, the whole recycling of Masterplan Part 1 as a commercial plan really does have a lot of value to it, and I cannot commend that idea enough to you. It really resonated with me when I heard it, and it makes a lot of sense. So again, if you haven't checked out the Busy Brain Club, you really ought to. And have a good night. We'll talk to you later, and I would love to hear your comments and thoughts, and we can discuss them in the comments below, or you can find me on Twitter.